Hey, everyone. Welcome to a special bonus episode of Locked On Lakers for a Sunday. Brian Kamenetsky, the Lakers shorthanded, no LeBron James, no problem. Anthony Davis and Austin Reaves come up huge, and the Lakers win again at home. That's next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, no matter how or where you get your podcasts. This one's always free, never behind a paywall. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is over 26,000 subscribers are all excited at the prospect of what the Lakers did on Saturday night at the Crypt. They beat a Sacramento 132-122. They run their record to 18-13. No LeBron James in this game, but Anthony Davis leads the way, 12 of 16 shooting, gets to the line 13 times, makes 11 of them, 36 points in total for AD to go along with 15 points and 8 rebounds. Austin Reaves steps up in a big way, 26 points, 16 assists. That is a career high, the 16 assists, but it really wasn't just those two. Obviously, on a night without LeBron, you need more guys stepping up. Rui, 4 of 5 from three-point range. He finishes with 21 points. The hot shooting from Hachimura continues. You go down the line here. Max Christie, 16 points. He continues to get more comfortable, not just defensively, but offensively. Dalton Knecht, 6 of 10 from the floor, 2 of 5 from three-point range. His most productive offensive game in a long time, 18 points. And so the Lakers, really, this was, I thought, at least an impressive performance. Again, no LeBron James. He was ill. In theory, should be fine for Tuesday night, New Year's Eve against Cleveland. But they also lost Gabe Vincent starting in place of LeBron. He went out in the first half with an oblique injury, took a, you could call it potentially cheap shot from Domantas Sabonis on a screen. Looked like Sabonis's arm, fist, whatever, got out into Gabe's midsection rib area, and that cost him the rest of the game. Cam Reddish went out for a little while. He did return in the second half after some back spasms, but overall, the Lakers were playing very shorthanded in this game and used a huge second half push to get out by as much as 20 and held on for the win. So look, I mean, it wasn't beautiful in the sense of the defense, which has been so good of late, wasn't as good on Saturday night, but that is to some degree what you would expect, missing LeBron, missing Vincent, and, having Reddish at least somewhat limited for part of the game here. The Lakers still very small. They are getting healthier. Jackson Hayes is getting closer. He was dressed but didn't play. And so they are getting more bodies back. But overall, I look at this one as a very impressive win, not just from the distribution of scoring, but some of the other things the Lakers did right. 11 turnovers in this game. When you are playing shorthanded, when you're playing a team that wants to run in the way that Sacramento does, don't give them extra opportunities. Don't give them easy baskets. The Kings have struggled to do things well throughout most of the season. It's why Mike Brown is out of a job. It's why Doug Christie was making his debut on Saturday night. And the Lakers you don't want to make it easier for a team like this. And they didn't. They didn't turn the ball over with any real frequency. Austin Reaves pointed the finger at himself. 16 assists. He did turn the ball over 5 times, so which he qualified as way too much. Said he didn't play well in the fourth quarter. Again, when you 5 turnovers on a normal night isn't great. 5 turnovers against 16 assists, it does mitigate that a little bit. The other thing the Lakers did was, after a very slow start at the line, they made their free throws. And I mentioned Anthony Davis getting there 13 times. I believe they missed 3 of their 9 of they missed. They were 3 for 9. So they missed 6 of their first 9. I was told there would be no math. And they finished 26 of 33. So that's good, both on percentage, near 80%, but also on volume. And they kept Sacramento off the line. The Kings only shot 15 free throws. And so, when you play this well offensively, when you get this kind of, whether it was better execution of the offense, whether it was just better shooting, whatever it was, the percentages that they had on Saturday night, 60% shooting, 54% from three, 79% from the free throw line. If you don't do things that allow your opponent to stay in the game, you're going to win more often than you lose. And, I mentioned the turnovers. I mentioned the free throw discrepancy. They kept Sacramento off the line. It's something the Lakers typically do well. I think maybe the one thing that Sacramento did was offensive rebounding. The Lakers surrendered 13 offensive rebounds, so there's some second chances there. I know some fans will look at this and they'll say that Sacramento isn't a good team. They dropped to 13-19, that they just fired their coach, that they are a mess, an ill-fitting mess with DeMar DeRozan added to that lineup. I mean, DeMar DeRozan had 25 points. He made 12 of 17 from the floor. He had 7 assists. He was a dominant offensive player, and he was a -9 on the night. And, Sabonis, he, finishes with 14, 12, and 7, but fouls out late in the game. And, the Lakers just did a really nice job controlling Sacramento stars. Even De'Aaron Fox finishes with 29, but needed 25 shots to get there, and finished 1 of 9 from three-point range. I'm sure we'll talk this week with the chatter about De'Aaron Fox potentially being on the market, the rumor mill already, of course, attaching him to the Lakers, and whether or not the Lakers have enough to even offer and get Fox, whether or not Fox ultimately gets traded, it would be an interesting conversation to see whether or not Fox would be the best fit for the Lakers going forward. But he's certainly a dynamic scorer, and they held him to basically a point per field goal attempt, which is not bad. I see this as a really impressive win for the Lakers. No LeBron. You need contributions from up and down the roster. You need guys to step up. Reaves did it when AD was out the other day, and he did it with LeBron out. Here, they're starting to round into some degree of form here. And while, a loss on Tuesday night could drop them back down to 18-14, they certainly have a good chance to be 5 or 6 games over 500 when mid-January rolls around, or, the first week or two of January. And that's not a bad place to be. And that's still without certain guys in the lineup as much as you would want them to be. But some help seems to be on the horizon. JJ Redick going into the weekend talked about how they expect guys to be starting to trickle back into availability, whether that's Jackson Hayes, who probably will play on Tuesday, I would suspect, but was available on Saturday, whether that's Christian Wood, whether that's Jared Vanderbilt. They are expecting over the next few weeks for guys, over the course of January, a few weeks in January, for guys to start getting back into the lineup. And that is going to give Rob Pelinka some stuff to think about, you would think. And the more they win these games, the more you see guys like Christie playing consistently. I mean, the 18 points from Knecht, we'll see if he can parlay that into something more consistent. Vincent hopefully is not out for that long, but that he was starting to look much, much more comfortable. And over the last couple of weeks has played quite well. He's hitting shots. He's playing defense. He's basically looked like the guy the Lakers wanted him to be when they signed him. And, you still have D'Angelo Russell, who came in on Saturday and did a nice job and can put the ball in the basket. But as guys like Rui, very quietly, hitting a lot of shots. The three-point shot, which when he came over from the Wizards was a major question mark, has grown much more consistent. And, last year percentages were quite healthy. This year he's shooting the ball very well, particularly of late. The defense, much better of late for Hachimura. It's not perfect, but, he has become a much more positive player on that side of the ball. And of course, Max Christie changing the way the Lakers play defense, re-slotting guys so that players like Austin Reaves don't have to spend nearly as much time guarding the opponent's best player. It is not coincidental, I think, that Reaves's performance offensively has picked up considerably since Christie was added to the starting lineup. There are quietly a lot of things to be encouraged about with the Lakers. Still got some problems. They are still not among the elite teams in the West, but Dallas, no Luka Doncic for a month or so. The Nuggets are kind of all over the place. The Clippers have played remarkably well given some of their roster defections and some of the injuries that they've had, but they've got their own question marks. And so like the conference is very, very deep, but not necessarily filled with tons of dominant teams. There's still people waiting to see whether or not the Rockets sustain what they're doing and what they might do in the playoffs. And Memphis might be without John Morant for a little bit as he hurt his shoulder over the weekend. And, the Grizzlies are waiting to see what comes of that. So, the West, I'm not going to call it wide open, because at the very least, you need to be at least as good as Oklahoma City or near Oklahoma City to say that you've got a chance. And I think the Thunder are still considerably better than the Lakers. But when it comes to, can you get yourself into the top 6 for starters? Yes, it does look like the Lakers can do that. Can you get yourself home court advantage in the first round? Maybe a little bit of a tougher go for the Lakers, but again, injuries around the conference, if the Lakers stay healthy and catch a break, it's certainly not out of the question the Lakers can end up in the top 4. And that means the decisions that Pelinka has to make, and we discussed this for Friday's show, get real tricky. How aggressive do you get if you can't necessarily make that deal that Pelinka wants to make, the obviously good one that helps you now and helps you in the future? What if you can only help the team now? You got to sacrifice a little bit of the future. Does Rob Pelinka think that this team is worth sacrificing for? Certainly the next few games over this home-heavy schedule will help him make those choices, and then we'll find out whether or not he can actually execute a trade, even if they want to. So plenty to unpack for Monday's show. Obviously, we'll get you ready for Tuesday and that big New Year's Eve game against the Cavs. Should have mentioned that Andy's not here tonight. He's doing radio for 710 ESPN, so he'll be back on Monday's show. But before we go, do want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Rocket RX. If you're ready to boost your confidence, take control in the bedroom, Rocket RX has a solution. Imagine feeling more prepared and performing at your best. Rocket RX makes it simple and stress-free. Rocket RX offers FDA-approved treatments for erectile dysfunction at a lower cost than branded alternatives. No more uncomfortable doctor visits or pharmacy trips. Everything is delivered straight to your door in discreet, plain packaging. And with Rocket RX, you get trusted care from a real U.S. clinical team. Complete a quick 100% online consultation. You can get your free prescription today. So visit rocketrx.com to get started now. It only takes 2 minutes. Right now, our listeners can get 40% off your first order when you use the code LOCKEDONNBA. That's rocketrx.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for 40% off your first order. Terms and conditions apply. Rocket RX, better sex made simple. We will see everyone on Monday.